they actually get rid of some of the pests that are extremely problematic.
Yeah, it's the rule. It's the rule of size. If an animal, the bigger the animal is, the less like really dangerous it is. Like if you get bitten by a huntsman, the biggest thing that you'll have to go to the hospital to get bandages, but you won't have to get any anti-venom.
Oh, okay.
Like you might be ill for a day, but that's it. Like the biggest damage it will do is the fangs that it has.
By
However,
comparison, the funnel webs, on the other hand, those
funnel webs will.
Oh yeah, like one bite, you're done.
They won't kill you, but you'll wish you're dead.
Mm-hmm.
Which in a way is worse. There is one spider in Australia that can kill you.
Isn't it like a common brown spider?
Oh no, sorry, no. The funnel web can kill you. The black widow doesn't kill you.
Right. I thought something was off there.
Yeah. And there's only, I think there's the snakes are dangerous, but it's the same thing. The smaller the snake, be worried. If it's big, it probably will leave you alone.
Yeah. Interesting. Anyway, we're live, by the way.
That's good to know. That's good to know.
Yeah, very good to know.
I'm going to go ahead and before introduction. You know what? Never mind. Go ahead.
No. So anyway, thank you guys for tuning into the Multiverse Show, episode 133, the greatest show on Mondays. We're getting things started here for the evening. So we got a couple things we want to do. But first off, we got our introductions. We got our Lord of the Storm, the Titan of Texas, the Mourner of Whataburger, Mr. Fame Entertainment.
Bro, I am hurt. I am officially hurt. But what's going on, guys? Fame Entertainment from TickGamesNetwork.com. And thank you guys for rocking with us on the greatest show on the Monday. I apologize if that intro is not very energetic as normal. I am tired as I'll get out. But I definitely want to fight through it. This has been our last show before the summer break. So, yeah, buddy.
All right. And we have the Baron of Britain, Mr. James Wilson.
Yes, it's me, James Sterling Wilson, also a multiverse wildlife expert.
Yeah.
For Australasia, Australia and New Zealand. Hi everyone. Yeah, I'm glad to be back. Before we take our lovely little break, I think we all need a little breather. I'm excited to talk about all the upcoming films and such and things. It's 1 a.m. This is the best you're getting out of me.
And we got the Don Deletion, Mr. Mike P. The Truth.
What's going on, guys? Thank you for joining us for another great episode of the Multiverse Show. As always, we have a lot of great topics planned for you guys tonight. And just a friendly reminder that if you have not had a good soft shell crab sandwich, you have not lived.
All right. And we also have fresh from the E3 floor, the White Wolf, Mr. Samuel Tolbert.
Hey, everybody. It's good to be back. It was a great time at E3, but I'm glad to be able to come back and write and talk about everything I saw. Unfortunately, this wolf did a lot of howling, and he's really tired, and I think I've got something. So if my voice sounds like death, that there's a good reason for it. I apologize.
There is a well-known E3 flu that happens.
All right. And so we are ready to roll here. First off, apparently YouTube decided to announce something interesting. Apparently, Google Hangouts is no longer going to exist.
What?
So what?
I am looking at a notification right now on my screen that says Hangouts on Air is going away later this year.
Yeah, this has been known for some time.
I did not know this. They did not announce anything publicly, at least. So this will be interesting.
Well,
anyway.
Well, I gotta do Anchor, just like the Double XP podcast. Switch the show over to Discord.
Yeah, that's what I've been hearing. So I just gotta figure out how to make it go live.
Or we could record it ahead of time.
Yeah, that'd be lame.
No.
Part of the fun is going live.
So professional, and we can get proper audio.
Yeah. All right. So going up to some couple of things real quick. So okay, it's been about 2 weeks since the thing. I know Sam's been at E3. We've all been kind of doing E3 stuff for the last week. So I kind of want to get a gist of not only that, but what you guys have been playing so far. So we're gonna kind of go over some of that stuff in a minute. But first off, I'm gonna pose 2 questions to start the show tonight. What have you been playing? What's the top game you've been playing right now? And what was the one thing you were super excited to see about E3? Or your favorite game that was shown at E3? Let's go with that. So
I have been playing nothing new, so do you mind if I start?
Sure.
I finished Observation. I started talking about that a few weeks ago. It's fantastic. It's easily my number 1 game of the year right now. So there's that. Unsurprisingly, James likes the weird sci-fi game. What a surprise. Favorite game of E3, however, it was a shock to me, Watch Dogs Legion. That game looks amazing, and I am so excited for it. And yes, some people will say that I'm biased because it's set in London. No. This game, the way that it looks like it's going to work, you set that game in Morocco, and I'm going to love it.
Mm-hmm.
Boy, Governor, right. You're pretty biased, yeah? Using the granny to mess up the police, boys?
Oh, God. I just need to quickly just be like... So, the voice acting of all the people in the game, like, seems great. However, the person doing the voiceover, I have never heard so obviously a person who is not from England. Like, I would have preferred to hear Dick Van Dyke do it. Like, it was that bad. It's from bloody London, innit? Yeah.
Oh, man.
All right. So, all right, go ahead, Babe. What you got?
Well, for me, I've been playing Dauntless like nonstop. I've had it for a while. I just didn't really play it, but once it became crossplay and everyone was getting on, I got back on. I'm still playing it on PC, and I've been like grinding hours at a time in that game. I really love the game. One of the best free to play games, probably the best free to play game I've ever played. And the grind is real, and I don't mind the grind in that game. And then for E3, I went back and forth between 3 games. It was Doom, Youngbloods, and Cyberpunk. If I had to give it to one, I would say Cyberpunk. That game is going to be out of control. I really can't wait to get my hands on it.
All right. And Mike, what you got?
So, I mean, what I've been playing, a lot of Mortal Kombat 11, still loving that game, doing the towers, playing a little bit of online matches, love it. A little bit of Battlefield 5. The new Mercury map is great. It's one of the best maps I've ever played in a Battlefield game. And I had a chance to check out a little bit of that new Lego expansion in Forza Horizon 4. I didn't think I was going to like it, but it actually works really, really well. So I was pleased with that. As far as my top game from E3, I was going to say Cyberpunk, but I'm going to go out on a limb and say Link's Awakening. That game just looks delightful, man. Like, how could you not look at that game and not just feel happy just watching it? I can't wait for that. I think it's going to be great.
Yeah. All right. It's good. And Sam?
So, given the fact that I was actually there at E3, I'm going to pull rank, cheat, and give 2 games. Is that okay? Good. Glad to hear it. All right. So, my first game that my favorite was Cyberpunk 2077. If you know me, that's no surprise, but seriously, guys, the gameplay that they showed this time already blows what they showed last year out of the water. It's truly insane. What they're doing is mind-boggling with level design, gunplay, different methods of approaching levels, integrating hacking into the gameplay. It's truly something to behold, and that doesn't even get me started on the story and the different approaches and how your background can help or not help, and the different ways you can choose missions. Like it's truly incredible to behold. But my runner-up is actually a game that jumped several places after the latest demo, and that's Dying Light 2. Dying Light 2 is doing some really cool stuff with traversal mechanics and the enhanced physics-based parkour. And I actually have an interview with a senior Techland dev that's going to be dropping in a few days. And there's some very juicy tidbits that I was able to get out. But it went from being a game like on my radar that I was interested in to, oh my God, this is my second favorite thing from the show besides Cyberpunk.
All right.
I remember last year when we did the E3 roundup. So that was the game that surprised me the most because I had no expectation for it, and the way that it was described last year, I distinctly remember on this podcast going, "Dying Light 2 looks really, really interesting," and I'm really glad to hear that that's still the case.
It is triple, if not quadruple, the case now, James.
Yeah. Can we all agree that the moment of E3, like the single moment, is when that man walked on stage?
Not up for debate. That it's not up for debate. It's ridiculous how that was one of, if not the coolest thing I've ever seen at
the fact that they kept it under wraps and they had like a stand-in come in for the rehearsals. Like literally no one knew that he was like the fact that they get leaked. That they went through great lengths to keep him a secret. That was amazing.
Yeah,
but it's one
did.
of those situations. They got it because no one was really looking for it. None of us were expecting, like a celebrity is going to come out at the Microsoft conference for Cyberpunk. Going forward, now we're all going to be like, who else is in the game?
Well, they've already hit peak.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was just going to say they've already hit peak. Like no other human being could have gotten that reaction.
Yeah, and
Keanu Reeves is so big right now. He owns Hollywood right now.
He's having a real moment. He's
John Wick and Always Be My Maybe. His small part of Always Be My Maybe was freaking. If you haven't seen Always Be My Maybe, you need to go watch it on Netflix. Such a good movie. And Keanu Reeves did an amazing job just for the small part he did. Like he owns 2019. It's not even close.
Little fact for fame. And Always Be My Maybe. Apparently, like 90% of his dialogue he improvised on set.
See, dude is a freaking.
Yeah, man.
Like they got him at the right time. They got him at the right time because he was just like he's at the peak of his popularity right now.
This is like the Keanu-sance.
Yeah. And like I remember like what was it just a couple of years ago, like right before John Wick came out, he was like complaining. He was like, I haven't had a major role in forever. And it's like I haven't got anything, and then all of a sudden John Wick comes out. And it's like, well, here we go again. So, and that's been his start all over again. He's back at it.
Not only that, not only is he in the game, he's actually got the second most lines. He's the second most important character in the game besides the main character you play as.
So I assume that someone from CD Projekt Red told you about the background of Johnny Silverhand.
Yeah, of course. I have not played it, but I'm very familiar. I read up on the Cyberpunk 2020 background material.
Yeah, if anyone's got a spare 10 to 20 minutes, check out Johnny Silverhand's story from 2020. I can't remember the actual name of like the quest, but it is outstanding, and that character that Keanu Reeves is playing, and I believe it's like a ghost, like a digital ghost of the 2020 character. But yeah, I'm also just like I'm ecstatic for that game. But I said it last year for like most anticipated, and Watch Dogs really took me by surprise. That's why I said it.
And I'm excited because I actually pre-ordered this game before Amazon took away their 20% off new games. So I'll be getting it day one on Xbox like 45. I'm so excited. I
just want to give a quick mention to two little indies that popped up. They got a lot of buzz really quickly and then have disappeared from the conversation, or at least that I've seen. One is the Blair Witch game because what?
Where did that come from? It looks great.
Dude, I thought that was going to be Outlast.
I thought it was too. I'm like, this is another Outlast game, but then it was like Blair Witch. I'm like, oh.
I remember saying to my friend when they said, "Oh, the Black Hills," I'm like, Is that what they said, Blair Witch? And then he said, nah, it's somewhere else. And then we saw the person standing in the corner, and I said, this is a Blair Witch game. It's the exact same feeling I had when they announced Mad Max.
Yeah, because it was crazy, because in the trailer, when they pulled the camera out, I'm like, oh, this is another Outlast game. So I was not expecting that.
Yeah, that was really surprising to me, but a welcome surprise by all means. And Game Informer actually has a great interview on this game. They talked with Bloober Team. That's the name of the studio, Bloober. Bloober.
No, Blooper. Those guys who did
Layers of Fear.
Layers of Fear and Observer.
Yeah, exactly. And they have an interview with Game Informer, and they talk about it, and they say they're not talking about the story in any way because the game comes out on August 30th. It's going to be on Game Pass. It's an Xbox and PC exclusive, at least right now.
Aww.
I'm not sure if that's timed or not, but those are where it's at. Anyways, they're not talking about the story because they don't want to spoil anything, but they would say two things. A, that the dog plays a big part, that he's like your interactive companion for the game.
Oh, and I don't want that dog to die.
Yeah, I'm like, you better not pull any nonsense, seriously. And then the other thing they said is there is combat, kind of. It's not like Outlast where you just run away. They compared it to Alan Wake, where you can use sources of light and like purity and calm to like cleanse and drive away evil creatures.
Wow.
Oh,
so
man,
yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's coming in August.
That game looks. I have nothing to expect from it, so I'm so excited. The other one I want to give a shout out is our good friends at Annapurna Interactive, the publishers of What Remains of Edith Finch, the Multiverse's Game of Forever. 12 minutes.
Yes.
12 minutes
Yeah,
looks like
looks
the
cool.
exact kind of game that I love. It's a weird gimmick that's playing with time, and then the next day Deathloop gets announced. It was a weird time.
So good.
It's like Happy Death Day, the game.
It's like Happy Death Day, the game. That's why I like it,
Yep, exactly.
but less
was
fun.
really good.
Supremely less fun.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, we had a lot of cool things that came out from E3, a lot of really cool announcements and such. So Sony wasn't here, as we all know. But so as a question to the group here, who do you think won E3? And I think, or in terms of like who winners and losers of E3. To me, the biggest winner of E3 was Game Pass.
Yeah.
Like the point where they won me was when they say Outer Worlds is going to be day and date on Game Pass for PC and Xbox.
I actually can't remember a game that they said that wasn't day and date. It was apart from like Cyberpunk and I think Halo.
No,
they
Halo's
didn't
on Game Pass.
They didn't mention anything about Halo, but yeah, it's understood it's going to be on Game Pass.
I mean, they really sold it. Like, if you have an Xbox and you don't have Game Pass, you're doing it wrong. Was basically how they sold it. I mean, my God, that was like the whole E3 was selling Game Pass. I feel like,
and then getting Game Pass Ultimate, for $1, and then it just adding up to what you have Xbox Live Gold for. Because now I have it on my PC and my Xbox, and it's beautiful. But I was gonna say one thing. Not saying they had the best E3, but I do think that Bethesda's E3 was underrated because they showed some really, really good games. I mean, Wolfenstein looked amazing. You said Deathloop earlier. It looked amazing. Ghostwire. I can't wait to really see and dive into what Ghostwire Tokyo was all about. So they didn't have the best E3, but they and then of course Doom Eternal, right? So I'm saying Doom Eternal, Deathloop, Wolfenstein Youngblood, Ghostwire Tokyo. They had a really good show.
But Bethesda had a seriously underrated E3. It really shocks me how many people aren't talking about how great it was, considering they announced 2 new IPs, showed off a ton of gameplay for Doom Eternal. My God, Ikumi Nakamura is the most adorable thing ever. I met her.
Commander King. It might not be a big title, but I mean, they had some games, man.
The only thing that was bad about the Bethesda conference was that obnoxious Woo guy. I was 2 seconds away from. I was leaving.
You weren't that excited?
No, I was about to leave my seat and find him and beat him up myself. I mean, my God, that was annoying.
I mean, I didn't care for Orion because I'm pretty much going to hedge my bet with xCloud being able to use my own Xbox as a server. I don't feel like I need to pay, for anybody else's thing. I mean,
Orion isn't a service; it's a tech. Orion is streaming tech that Bethesda is going to be selling to other companies. It was a bizarre place for the announcement. Don't get me wrong; that would have been better suited for a GDC type thing. But that's not a service.
Oh, okay. I thought it was a service.
They're going to be like selling that stuff to Stadia and to Google and to Xbox for them to use.
Oh, well,
yeah. Stadia had a nice bit of airtime from a bunch of different conferences. It got mentioned in like 3 or 4 different places. I think it's surprising also that Ubisoft is so going in on it. Also surprising, like the multimedia landscape of Ubisoft's future. There's like a Netflix show. There's like I think a Hulu show. And they've got a bunch of different stuff coming out. Ubisoft, I think, had a strong showing, but they always do. I think the ending was bizarre. Ending on Gods and Monsters, which I have heard is basically Breath of the Wild.
Ubisoft left me in this weird position where, on the one hand, I thought some of their stuff, like the TV show they're doing with Apple, that really dragged. It was
Apple,
TV. Like, okay, yeah, that really dragged, and that had no place in the conference. And yeah, I mean, I don't hate the concept, but ending on Gods and Monsters was bizarre. My God, mobile Sam Fisher was just a slap in the face and a middle finger. But at the same time, Ubisoft actually had a decent compact short conference, which is something they've never accomplished before. So I have to tip my hat to them there.
I thought was bizarre, but it kind of makes sense looking at the way they're going with Microsoft. If anybody noticed, this is the year that none of their trailers for their first party studios was saying Xbox, Windows 10 exclusive. They all said, okay, this is either a world premiere or this is from an Xbox game studio.
That's something
it kind of shows the narrative that they're really pushing this. Hey, we're and even when was it Phil or Matt Booty said we're the biggest third party publisher on Nintendo right now. I'm like, yeah, they're really pushing that. Hey, we don't care. Like, put our game on your console. We'll be a third party, developer publisher. And them not saying exclusive at all throughout the conference was like a key sticking note to that, in my opinion.
Well, I think it was also the fact that people have mocked that exclusive world premiere thing for years now. So you got to keep that in mind. But yeah, I hear what you're saying, Fame. I hear what you're saying. Honestly, the thing that got me was they shamelessly ripped off Sony Interactive Entertainment Presents with Xbox Game Studios Presents, and I'm perfectly okay with it. Like, shamelessly rip that off. That's fine, because people associate that kind of thing with quality.
True, and and I bet Flight Simulator for the people who want to. But when they first showed like the beginning of that trailer, I was like, whatever this is, it's the greatest looking game of all time, and I was like, oh, Flight Simulator. I mean, cool for some people. Just
I was gonna say, is this GTA 6?
I was like, whoa!
Oh my god!
Next gen.
You guys want to know something funny?
What?
Flight Simulator has the second most views of any of the games they showed up there on their stage. Only Halo Infinite has more.
Well, because there's a really hardcore community, especially on PC. Well, only
there is
that
big time
plays Flight Simulator religiously.
That's definitely going to be like a PC only game, right?
Nope, it's coming to Xbox.
Is it?
Oh,
wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Didn't see that one coming. But like Anchor said before, I think Game Pass stole. I mean, literally almost every game you saw, it was like coming day and date on Game Pass. I'm like, yo, like that's big, yo.
It is.
That was like, and I understand like a lot of it was more circumstance, where it was like, okay, yeah, Outer Worlds, they didn't like orchestrate some crazy deal for it. They bought the studio. Like, it just made sense for them to do that. I understood that. But it just means a lot to people to see it come day and date. Oh my god, this is huge.
Because I said this because it's twofold. It's like, hey, if you're on Xbox, you're already seeing the fruit of the acquisition or PC now, PC as well. You're seeing the fruit of the acquisition because you can just play it through Game Pass. And if you're on PlayStation, it's a teaser because it's like, hey, guess what? This game, if you want to get more of it, you got to be in our ecosystem. This is the last one coming to PlayStation. So it's sort of an interesting twofold there.
That's like a lot of people were, about Xbox games going to Steam day one. But I think with Game Pass gaining so much traction, you're going to see a lot of people who would have originally probably paid $60 for like Gears 5 on Steam. Like, man, I can just pay, if it's the first month, second month, I can pay, part of my Game Pass subscription and play Gears 5 here instead of Steam. I think that's actually going to take a lot from the Steam sales, really. Especially
since they finally fixed the store by not fixing it, by just making a new one. Like, don't bother with the Windows Store. They've got the new. It's good. I've used it. It's really good. They fixed it big time. I was actually talking to Dan McCulloch, the head of Xbox Live, about this at E3, and he said, look, you got to understand, yes, it took us years, but no one hated the Windows Store more than like me or Mike Ibarra. I mean, so like, they went in hardcore, they fixed it up, and the new one is great. If you haven't downloaded it, by all means do so. It's great. It's very Discord-like.
That's nice, man. And I think was the stupidest complaint. It was the Avengers game. I don't want to keep cutting in E3 stuff, but it was. People were so like. Did you expect that you're gonna see Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man? Like, no. Like, I think people are so ingrained on what the Avengers look like in the movie that they hate it. The character models for the Avengers game is not bad. I think you got a bunch of entitled gamers who are hoping to see Chris Evans and Robert Downey Jr.
Agreed.
I mean, dude, I was blown away in the media showing the gameplay. And yes, I'm going to write about this. I know I have a lot to write about that we got to see behind closed doors because they actually did it. The gameplay is fantastic.
Somebody recorded and put it on YouTube. I think it got taken down already. I think I take it down, but I was like, yo, like this looks like legit. It's like the single player, like God of War, like it looked good. Like, okay,
they better hope they don't find them because they specifically said, hey, we're still developing, we're still smoothing things out. If we catch you recording, we'll throw you out.
I want to say it was taken down.
of course, people are already roasting it, saying, well, the frame rate was bad. It looks trash. It's like, yes, of course. That's why they said, hey, don't record it. It was only supposed to be press and, I hate this word, but influencers. And, well, there's a reason that the latter are causing issues. But I digress.
Yeah, it was a little bit, it was definitely off camera, but it was like right in between two people. And you can actually see it really good. I was like, yo, this looks legit. Like, I like the way it looked. Don't get me wrong, but I mean, I think people complaining about the character models, we're going down a bad road if this is what we're complaining about now. Like, these character models look fine, they're just not Robert Downey Jr. and Chris Evans.
While we're still talking about moved on to Square Enix, I want to hey, Final Fantasy VII looks amazing.
Final Fantasy VII does look amazing. Here's my concern, though. Because it's episodic, how long is it going to be between episodes, though? Because if it's like a couple years between episodes, that's really going to suck. I mean, I'm really looking forward to it. And yes, it does look amazing, 100%. It's just that the way that it's structured, I have concerns with that.
But we don't know how it's structured. We don't know. Like, is this episode 1 in air quotes going to be just Midgar? And is that going to take that going to take up 2 Blu-ray discs?
Here's the thing. They could be pulling the wool over our eyes, James. But and I say this as someone who hasn't played the original, so I don't really understand what this means. Okay, you need to keep that in mind. Yeah. But they said yes, like 95% of the first game is Midgar. Like, that's what it's focused on.
Okay. I mean, that's good. That is a fair.
I don't know what that means. I just know that it looks incredible, and I'm going to get it because it looks like there's a lot of Final Fantasy 15 in there, but it's a new world, sort of vaguely Blade Runner-ish, but with corporate issues and environmentalism. And yeah, like I'm all on board. Looks great.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like it's that old saying. It looks like what you remember Final Fantasy VII looked like.
Yeah. I don't know.
I mean, Final Fantasy VII is as old as me, so to put that into context.
Yeah, I mean the game looks good. I'm impressed with it. I don't know what else to say about it though. I don't have that emotional connection to it, so it's not for me. It's not a big deal.
Another friend of mine was at E3 and she works for CD Projekt Red, and I remember messaging her saying congratulations on the showcase and keeping Keanu Reeves under wraps, and all she would talk to me about was Final Fantasy 7 and 8 because she just loves them so much.
Yeah. It looks interesting. So
I keep telling myself I'm gonna go ahead and head to E3. I think next year I'll actually, even Kyle hit me up afterwards like, bro, you're gonna go? I'm like, yeah, I'll go eventually. I think I'm gonna definitely take that plunge and go next year because I think next year's gonna be big.
Next year's gonna be
big. So I'm like, I have to go next year.
I think next year might actually be the final E3 in the way that we know it.
Yeah, I can see that. So we gotta kill it. Sam, I'm coming with you next year, bro. We're gonna kill it.
That's fine by me, man. That's fine by me. As long as I get the home team organized, that is totally fine. Because I'm taking our man Nick out next year.
Yeah.
So yeah, but it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good.
Yeah, I mean
nice.
Like 8. Like we have like 8 passes next year. Like I'm looking forward to it.
Sam, I got a question for you. So you were there. I feel like in general this E3 was underrated. I know that a lot of people are like, oh, it's not the same because Sony's not there, blah blah blah. But they even if the hype wasn't necessarily there, they showed a lot of really good stuff at this E3.
It's very difficult for me. So I get what you're asking, Mike. It's very difficult because
what was the vibe like
on the one? This was my best E3 ever, but I am trying to weigh in the fact that some of that came from the fact that I got some really cool meetings, some really cool interviews behind closed doors. So it's like, if all you're doing is the conferences or the announcements, I can understand you saying, all right, this was a little disappointing. I don't have half as many issues like with the Xbox conference as many people do, but even I have to go, all right, guys, Gears 5 campaign gameplay, what was up with that? Like, I've played the game. It's great. There was no reason to be afraid to show it. Zero, zilch, none. Like, so I think this was not a bad E3. There were just some odd decisions made. And
during the Xbox conference, there was a lot of CGI too. There wasn't a lot of actual gameplay trailers, which I thought was weird. But You know, a lot of people were like, "Oh, the Xbox conference was trash." I didn't think it was trash at all. I thought it was a good.
No, I think last year was better, but this one
last year was definitely
good.
better, but this was good. Like my whole thing is that they showed a bunch of games that I want to play on my Xbox. So if you just look at it like that, it's like I was happy with it.
I will say this: I would not confirm that I've been playing Gears of War 5 for the past couple of months. I also would not deny it. But if I was to confirm that I've been playing Gears of War 5 for the last few months, I would tell you, just like Sam says, you guys have nothing to worry about. If I had been playing Gears of War 5 for the last few months, and I will not confirm or deny that.
So hypothetically, Fame, and I do mean very hypothetically, you would understand what I mean by there's a much greater focus on melee combat.
Yes, indeedy. Feed the needy.
And
if
using, for example, using a heavy crystal mace to smash foes left and right is maybe kind of insanely cool.
If I was to confirm that was really gratifying, I would let you guys know, but I would not confirm nor deny that that's extremely gratifying.
Oh, man, I can't wait till you guys can tell us about this.
Well, no, I can tell you about it. It is awesome.
Yes. He's not. Yeah,
Fame can't confirm anything, but I can tell you right now. I wrote up my impressions of Escape. I just think this was the E3 of odd decisions, not a bad E3. This was an E3 of okay, that was an odd choice, but that doesn't mean you necessarily have anything to worry about. If we objectively look back in terms of announcements, but like I said, Bethesda announced 3 new IPs and showed off Doom Eternal, which is going to be a Game of the Year contender. Microsoft, Ori and the Will of the Wisp, while it's coming out a little later than I wanted, Thomas, you and Moon take all the time you need because, my God, that game looks eye-meltingly good. It looks ridiculous. Double Fine, we haven't even talked about that. Them picking up Double Fine, what a surprise.
Yeah,
I want to talk about that for a minute. I want to talk about that because that is a big deal. Like, okay, for those of you who don't know, so Tim Schafer had created his own studio called Double Fine, and he's a auteur kind of creator. And the funny part about this is that this generation, he has been explicitly pro Sony. Like he's remade games. What was it? Grim Fandango remastered, and Broken Age had it came out earlier on PlayStation, if I remember correctly.
Mm-hmm.
There was a bunch of stuff like that. Day of the Tentacle, they re-releasing games on PlayStation, but not for Xbox. And he was going out of his way. Like, for as far as we knew, Psychonauts 2 was not coming to Xbox. They had a ton of stuff like that. This was a big deal. And so when they announced that Tim Schafer has been acquired in Double Fine, that is a big deal. Like that, to see, okay, now he's going to be making stuff for Microsoft alone. And this is a pretty big get. And I get the feeling that, I don't know if anyone else got this impression, but I get the feeling that Tim Schafer is not really on board. I feel like this was a decision, like the company said, we need money. We can't rely on Fig and Kickstarters all the time. We need to be able to sustain ourselves.
It might actually be the exact opposite. Just saying, this was heavily a Tim-based decision. Heavily.
All I'm going to say is Tim's best games have come when there's someone above him telling him yes and no.
Yeah. I mean, that's how a lot of stuff
I mean this in the best possible way. Tim Schafer is a weirdo, but I mean that in a very loving way. I appreciate it.
He's a brilliant one. I mean, last year
he's a creative.
Yeah, not the one that's happened, but the year that I went to it, the BAFTA Game Awards, he was given the BAFTA Fellowship, which is a big deal. That's like a lifetime achievement award.
Yeah, absolutely. And not only that, but Matt Booty in his... I'll never get tired of that name. That's an awesome name, Matt Booty. He talked in an interview with VentureBeat today, actually, that came out. It's a great interview. Go read it about their E3, what they did right, what, maybe taking some feedback on what they did wrong. And he explicitly said that he's surrounded by marketing people and business people and suits in Redmond, in Washington, in Microsoft, and he's explicitly trying to find as many creatives and artsy types as possible. And he's like, Tim Schafer fits that bill to a T. So I thought that was kind of cool to see.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Speaking of names and never getting tired of names, how funny was the beginning of Nintendo's Direct?
It was the most obvious joke in the world, and I'm so happy they did it.
I didn't think they were going to do it, but they did it. And I'm like, this is hilarious.
Yeah, I don't know. Nintendo, like, I actually didn't watch their thing. I didn't watch it because I just didn't feel like, one, I was at work, and two, I just didn't really feel like catching up on it. Like, I caught the cliff notes, which is all I needed. I will say Breath of the Wild 2 is a bit of a surprise. Like, at first I thought that was a joke. And I'm a little surprised that that's going to be a thing.
Yeah,
So-
and I mean, obviously it's still a few years off, but
I mean,
Yeah.
are you really that surprised? A direct sequel to one of the most successful games the company's ever made,
Yeah, it's interesting because
and the
I was
most
talking-
critically acclaimed thing ever.
I was talking with PlayStation Bra about this. Shout out to him, by the way. Had a great time with him and Joseph Yaden at E3. But it's one of those things where I know every Zelda game has always sort of done its own thing, but Breath of the Wild was too much of a success for them not to like hammer down on it. There's going to be changes, there's going to be improvements, but them using the engine there, them using that same physics system, and like just building on that story is absolutely, it perfectly makes sense. I totally understand them doing
because they're using all of those building blocks, like we shouldn't expect a sequel to be that far away. It's not. It wouldn't be surprising, like, you know, because they don't have to create a physics engine. They don't have to. They've got loads of already existing assets that they can just modify. They don't have to create loads and loads of new stuff like you would for a new game. That's why, like, Majora's Mask was able to come out so soon after Ocarina of Time. And that's what I feel like this is going to be. And from that trailer, it looks, I am so down for a weird, twisted Breath of the Wild. That was on my list of like things, the 6 things that I was most excited about after the E3. Number 6 is straight away new Breath of the Wild.
yeah, Nintendo's E3 was really good. I mean, like I said before, Link's Awakening I think looks great. Luigi's Mansion 3 looks great. You know, Banjo-Kazooie and Smash. I mean, it's something that everybody's, I think, knew was going to happen eventually, but for them to actually confirm it, I thought that was great. They had a great conference, I thought.
Mm-hmm. All right. Let's see what else is there. I don't know. What was the game I was excited for? So I guess the game I actually have the most questions about is probably Deathloop. Because it's like, okay, let me talk about Bethesda for a minute. Let me get on my soapbox for Bethesda stuff. This E3 was very weird for them.
Sure.
Because this generation especially, Bethesda has extremely relied on their established IPs that they have. It's been rebooting old IPs that they already had, or trying to take their existing IP in different directions. Example, Elder Scrolls Online, Fallout 76, rebooting Wolfenstein, rebooting Doom, Prey, Dishonored. They have been really focused on their existing IPs, and they haven't really made new IPs this generation. But this E3, they were announcing new games left and right. Like brand new IPs. I mean, Deathloop is a brand new IP. Ghostwire Tokyo is a brand new IP. And I'm just amazed. It's like this is what I wanted to see from them. It's like, okay, and I think I mentioned this in the last E3, was that I was hoping they were going to be doing something new.
Right.
With new IPs. Because they've been playing it pretty safe for the most part. But this will be interesting. And I think they figured out their marketing machine, and they can make a good game and announce it properly.
Yeah. I mean, it is interesting, Ivan. Like, correct me if I'm wrong, but the only real new IP they've had this generation is they revived Wolfenstein, but that's not new per se. I mean, you really
Evil
can make
Within.
Evil Within is a new IP, but that was still cross-gen because actually it came out on the 360 and PS3 as well. So I don't know, you can be finicky about that or whatever. But there's also the fact that like Prey is a new IP in all but name. Like they took the name and then other than that it's completely different. So that's a new IP.
Like I say, it's rebooting old IPs.
Sure. But this rush of new IPs is very interesting from them. I will point out something though. I love the whole cross-studio initiative they have going of having the different teams help each other out, like having Arcane, assist with Wolfenstein's level design and stuff like that. That's great. But I'm happy for Tango Gameworks getting a new IP. I still hope we get an Evil Within 3 next gen. Okay, I still hope so. B, something interesting about Deathloop is this is the first time from an Arcane developed game. They didn't say from Arcane Studios. They mentioned specifically it's Arcane Lyon. So that leaves Arcane Austin free and open. Just pointing that out.
Mm-hmm. That's interesting. That's a good point to bring up, actually.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So the $1 million question, and this is a question I got to ask for the group here. Was Sony right for missing E3 this year?
Yes. I think
Why?
they got across the message that the messages they wanted of the little information that we got about the PS5 about like a month ago now, and the Death Stranding gameplay thing that happened a few weeks ago. They're good. Like they don't have anything crazy big coming out in like the next like couple months. So what's the I feel like they did E3. They remained part of the conversation. The fact that you are asking that question means that they were right to do what they did.
Mm-hmm. All right. What about the rest of you? What do you guys think?
I mean, we kind of already knew what they have coming. And, it's like, why should they waste resources if they don't have anything else new to show? So I think from a business perspective, at least, they made the right decision. Now, obviously, from a gamer perspective, you want them to be there and you want them to have the presence. But I think from a business perspective, it was the right decision for them to not show up.
I get that as well. I mean, if you really are prepping for next gen and you pretty much put all your stuff out there that you're working on, why would you want to spoil, the things that aren't even ready to be shown yet? I think they had the right idea. I think honestly, I think Microsoft could have went bigger than what they did as well, because now they're already saying how 2020 is going to be so much bigger. I have a problem with them not being there. Sony kind of proved that they don't really need to spend billions of dollars for an hour and a half when they can release stuff out in a video and get just as much attention.
Well, I think that's a commentary on E3 in general, which I think we were talking about that last time, where it's like, Sony, Nintendo, and I think other publishers and developers as well are realizing that you can still have news and you could announce your next games and you could still get hype for them without the stage of E3. Like there's other things and other venues that you could do to get that information out and still build hype for it.
Mm-hmm. All right. So, Sam, what are your thoughts on this, dude? I gotta know.
Yes, they were correct to skip E3 if we're only talking about them not having a conference. They did not need to have a conference this year. Their Death Stranding teaser, then the trailer and blowout and the release date announcement, that was more than enough. They proved that's all they needed to do there. If, however, we're talking about them having a presence on the ground, then not being there was a mistake. However slight, it will shift the focus to what the competition and the competition only has to offer. However slight, it puts more pressure on them the next time they do have gameplay demos and things like that. So they were correct not to have a conference. They were wrong not to have a booth and a show floor presence.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, I don't know. I personally don't know whether or not it was the right call or not. I think on one in one regard, it left them really open for discussion. Like nobody was talking about PlayStation at all during E3, and I guess that kind of matters a little bit. But at the same time, like they didn't really lose any major opportunities. Microsoft didn't capitalize on them not being there.
Right.
I think that is a major point to point out there, that they didn't capitalize on them not being there at all, and that just kind of opened up an opportunity for them to be like, well, nothing to really say here. And so they just kind of, I would say, phoned it in, but this was an opportunity for Microsoft to really capitalize on them not being there, and they didn't really take it. Like they had a decent show, and that was kind of it. Like they didn't really do anything that was like, all right, this is it. This is the nail in the coffin. I think what they could have done, and again, it was a wasted opportunity, was xCloud. If they had come out and said xCloud is now a part of Game Pass, you can stream it if you don't want to download it. Good to go. That would have been a like hands down. This is it moment. Because that would have nailed the coffin for PS Now. That would have done it.
It would have. I still feel like there's more questions than answers as far as xCloud. What do you guys think about Scarlet? Especially the fact that there's only one SKU. I think going into E3, the rumor was they're going to have 2 SKUs for the next Xbox console. But, based on what the people at Xbox are saying, like, this is it. Like, it's one console.
Where have they explicitly said it's just one console?
They didn't say that?
No. In fact, if anything, actually the press release for Halo Infinite on Xbox Wire, which is their PR site, actually says, we are very happy to launch Halo Infinite next year through Xbox Game Pass to PC, Xbox One, and our next generation of consoles, Scarlet. Which, to be fair, don't read into it too much, but they haven't explicitly said it's not 2 SKUs. I think it's too early to make that call either way.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you're right. It is too early to make that call. Because it could be just the wording of it, where they're just saying, hey, yeah, it's gonna be our next generation consoles, meaning like later down the line might do like a updated version like they did with the S or the X or whatever. But it could be something like that, or it could be 2 different models. It's too early to call it definitively, but it will be interesting.
Yeah, it will be. It will be. In terms of their announcement, I think that it was great in terms of Scarlet. They hit the right points. They said about all I would expect them to say this far out, since this is a holiday 2020 launch. Halo Infinite being launched alongside it was a no-brainer, but good to see them confirm it anyways. The only thing I'll say, it's interesting that they specifically said hardware-based ray tracing. Sony has just said ray tracing, and there is a big difference between the two, so I'm wondering about that. The other thing is Sony definitely, I will say, proved that you can just put out an article and have the internet blow up anyways. You don't need to do this at a conference. I'm not saying Microsoft did a wrong thing. I'm just saying they didn't have to. They could have done this elsewhere, and it would have been fine.
Right.
Because they're targeting the same points, the same tech.
Yeah. Okay. I'm trying to, what else we got. So since we're ending it up for the summer, we're going to do some changes and such over the summer. I know, James, you wanted to do something about movies that are coming out for the summer.
I did want just a quick little, just like, here is the highlights of the stuff coming out. Obviously, I don't need to talk about films involving toys, spiders, and cars, because we all know about Toy Story, Spider-Man, and Fast and Furious, which are all coming out in the next few weeks. I do want to highlight 4 films. One everybody knows about. The other we've talked about a lot, and the other 2 hopefully I'm going to raise some profile of. But Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is going to come out. It is Quentin Tarantino. Come on, go see it. Questionable subject matter with Sharon Tate and the Manson family, being as it is, I believe, maybe the 50th anniversary of her death. The original plan was to release the film on the anniversary, on the actual day, which would have been very dicey, but also very, very Quentin. So that's that. Scary stories to tell in the dark. We have talked about, I think, twice before. This is the new Guillermo del Toro produced. It's either an anthology horror film or a portmanteau horror film. A bunch of different stories within one film. We like scary films on this podcast, as Mike and I and Sam often like to talk about, which leads me nicely onto Midsummer, the new film by Ari Aster, director of Hereditary, which was, I think, it made it into our top 3 or 5 of films last year. Mike, I know you loved Hereditary.
Oh, it was great.
Yeah, Midsummer is the new film, spelt weirdly. It's spelt sort of Nordic, Midsommar. This film stars Florence Pugh, who you guys would know, who played Paige in the biopic about the rest of the Page. She was... Oh, I'm trying to think of other things that Florence Pugh has been in that you would know. Nothing high profile. She's been in a lot of English stuff. Brilliant film a couple of years ago called Lady Macbeth. She's a real rising star of an actress. You should check her out. But Midsummer looks crazy. For me, the best thing about it is it's scaring me in the daytime. And for me, that's the hardest thing in horror to do. It's easy to scare someone at night. You hide behind a corner, you pop out and go boo. In the daylight, you can see everything. And when you can see everything in front of you and you still are terrified of it, it gets me going into good places. Yeah, I've seen the trailer loads of times. I've got no idea what the film's about.
That's the thing, dude. I saw the trailer once and I decided, okay, you know what? I'm not watching this trailer again because 2 things. A, there is so much they could do with this. Please don't suck. And B, I want to know nothing about it.
Yeah.
The idea that this film exists is enough for me. I'm just praying that it doesn't suck. That's all.
Yeah.
Like, please do something interesting.
All praise A24. A24, the craziest distribution and production company working in Hollywood right now. That everything they release is just interesting beyond relief. I could go on about all the stuff, but I think we're going to be back in 3 weeks. When are we coming back, Ivan? He's not here.
Ivan, when are we coming back? Okay.
Oh, sorry. I think we were planning for September. I'm not positive. So either August or September.
Fantastic. I didn't prepare August films. Anyway, a film coming out. It's coming out in a few weeks in the UK. I don't know when it's coming out in America. Not crazy weird. It just looks fun, and it's a film called Yesterday. This is a new film by director Danny Boyle of Slumdog Millionaire fame and 28 Days Later and Trainspotting and loads of other brilliant films. This is set in a world where nobody knows the music of the Beatles except one man.
Oh, that looks good.
Yeah, it looks like a fun romantic comedy with the music of the Beatles. And I sometimes recommend a lot of weird films that are going to creep you out or make you think. This just looks like a fun film. And every now and then you need a fun film that's going to make you feel good. And nothing does feel good better than the Beatles. So that's my little roundup of the upcoming really interesting films for me. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, Midsummer, and Yesterday.
One movie that I'm looking forward to, but it's kind of weird because I've heard about it. It's got a summer release date, this summer. But I haven't seen trailers or anything, is called Mobtown. You guys know I love mob movies. This movie, it stars David Arquette and Jamie Lynn Sigler, who some of you may know played Meadow on The Sopranos. And the premise of the movie is David Arquette plays as a state trooper who infiltrates and exposes a mafia summit in upstate New York. The premise sounds great. Most recent article I could find on it is from March, and it says that the film had sold to Saban, and it says that it's on target for a summer release date, but I haven't heard or seen anything else on it. The premise sounds great. I would definitely see it. I just don't know what's going on with it. But when it does come out, I will say it. 2
words for you, mate. Amazon Prime. That's not me confirming anything. I don't know, but from reading about it, the quick glance I have on IMDb, this looks like a streaming service film.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if we are coming back in around September, the day after my birthday, It Chapter 2 releases, and that film looks bonkers.
that trailer was
probably
so good.
with Avengers Endgame out of the way, that is easily one of my most anticipated films for the rest of the year. Easily.
If you, this is how much I'm excited for it. If I had two doors in front of me, and one says It Chapter 2, and the other says Star Wars Episode 9, I would blow up the red balloons and walk straight into that door.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, and speaking of birthdays, I'm quite shamelessly going to remind everyone that tomorrow is my birthday. So,
Aw.
don't
How old
don't
you
hit me
turning?
up.
How old you turning?
How old am I turning?
You old fart.
23.
23.
Oh God, he's a baby.
Aw.
I forget that Sam and I are the same age.
It's nice. It's nice, James.
They grow up
I
so
think I'm the
fast.
oldest person on the show.
No, you're not.
You're not.
We won't name names.
Mike's the old man of the multiverse.
I
Mike,
am.
how old are you?
I'll be 34 in August.
Oh yeah, you old as hell.
Yeah. Please, I'm getting gray in my hair. My beard got gray in it. It's terrible.
Dude, I'll be 32 this year, and it's how bad I've gotten. Like, I don't know if you guys have noticed. Like, I stopped doing like on camera interviews, like with developers. So now I got everybody else doing it. I'm just in the background, like coordinating stuff, booking interviews, getting stuff together, and I'll edit and put it on site. I don't even. I'm the old man setting up interviews for these guys now. I'm just gotten so lazy.
Yep.
Old and
Yep,
tired.
I get it. So, all right. Well, we're gonna wrap things up here. So some housekeeping stuff I just kind of want to bring up while we're here. So, with the advent of Google Hangouts going to be ending, we're going to be looking at alternatives for this. Probably going to be Discord. I'm just going to go ahead and say that right now. It's probably going to be Discord as the alternative, unless we hear more. One of the things I absolutely hate about Google, besides the fact that they like to throttle people and they continually hate fame and try to kick them out on a regular basis, besides that, is that they are extremely vague about things. And I don't know what's going to happen because they gave us no clues. Like, I love the example because, like, I'm looking at the notification on here. It says, this Hangout on Air is live. Hangouts on Air is going away later this year. For quick streaming, try youtube.com/webcam. And you can stream one person. That's it. It's like, that's
Dude,
not a solution.
Come over to this. I switched double XP over to Discord a while back, and I wish I'd done it a long time ago. You're gonna enjoy doing it over Discord, dude. I promise.
Yeah.
If you need help with OBS, just let me know. We can set up, get overlays going, man. It'd be a good time. I got you.
All right. So we'll get things rolling over there and see what the deal is. Yeah, we're taking a break for the summer. Don't plan on anything until September at the latest. But that's how it works. We take off for the summer. There's not much going to be going on anyway. It's mostly just talk. I mean, that's what it is, really. But anyway, guys, I want to thank you guys for tuning out to watch the show. I really enjoy it every single time. There's going to be changes coming. We'll get to those when we get to those. So I'll do our outros. Let's start with Fame. Where can the people find you, sir, for the rest of the summer?
You guys can find me at FameENT2K on Twitter. I started really rocking back on my channel again. So on YouTube, FameENT2K. You can find the Double XP podcast on there as well. And then on July 25th, I'll be at the Bethesda thing. But on July 26th, I will be at QuakeCon. So I'm going to bring you guys a lot of interviews and in-depth stuff live from Quake. Me and the Tick and 2XP team will be out there. So make sure you guys on TickGamesNetwork.com. Well, every day, honestly, but definitely in July because I'll be posting up a lot of our interviews that we'll be doing out at QuakeCon.
Mm-hmm.
Or DoomCon. Year of the Doom.
Yep. All right. And James.
Yep, lovely to be here as always, and can't wait to have a few weeks off. People can come and get me on the tweets at James_S Wilson. I regularly am posting about how crazy the US box office is right now. Oh man, the X-Men Dark Phoenix second week, $9 million.
Good God.
That is less than Aladdin's sixth week.
They should put it on Game Pass.
Next up, next year, Microsoft Movie Pass.
They should have released it on Netflix.
Yeah, at this point, I agree with you. There's a lot of shoulda, woulda, coulda stuff going on.
Yeah, but at James_S Wilson, please come and chat with me on Twitter. I could do with the followers. Lovely to see you as always.
Yep. All right, and Mike.
All right, guys. Thank you for joining us for another great episode of the Multiverse Show. Thank you for sticking with us the whole season long. We appreciate you guys, as always, for the support. You can find me on Twitter at The Truth of Mike P, and pretty much everywhere else at Mike P The Truth.
All right, and Sam?
Yeah, so thank you guys for tuning in for our last episode for the season. It was really great talking with everybody post E3. My throat's going to hate me even more tomorrow. You can find me on Twitter at Samuel Talbert. You can find everything I write on TickGamesNetwork.com. I'm currently in the middle of unleashing a deluge of E3 articles and previews, and I've got 2 massive interviews that are coming up. I'll officially announce 2 of them because I haven't done this before. One of them, as I said earlier, is with a senior developer at Techland on Dying Light 2. Got some juicy tidbits out of that. The other is with Alex, the head of the new Typhoon Studios, working on Journey to the Savage Planet. And we talked a lot about what it means to leave your well-paid jobs at Ubisoft and come make a new tiny studio to make a crazy new game. It's awesome. Please be excited.
Dope. All right. And I'm Main Command V2. You guys know where to find me. Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo, wherever. Again, you can find me all across the board. I want to thank you guys again for tuning up to every show. It's been an absolute blast. I love doing this with you guys. But yeah, we're going to get things rolling here. Thank you guys for tuning in. This is the Multiverse Show, the greatest show on Mondays, and we will see you guys next time.
Keanu Reeves can